I command that all be slaughtered, but first steal all of their life's earnings.
My lord, then who will do our work first?
Never thought of that. People, 2021 years, where is it? I don't want to dwell on this. Yes, I do. This is a history book here, not a Holy Bible. You live in a game world of Holy Bible. You could have a reality. This is a history book. You're not going to have it very long. I put a countdown on this at 44 years that I figured I had left to live, just over 100 years. Now it's down to 42.2. And the time's going quick to learn real psychology, which is your potential for heaven. And I wanted to take today to tell you my story in Phoenix, and I have never done anything wrong in my life, so my story is a long one to steal my home in Phoenix. And that was your Phoenix police that involved in stealing my home in Phoenix. So what I'll do is I'm going to tell you the story and the first thing you hear the word story, oh gee, it's not true. Yes, it is. Story means what happened. Lie means it didn't happen. So you need to realize all these synonyms and get them right. You've been lying all your lives. You're looking for last day's doom, 2021 years now. I offered you video number 17, Real Psychology, Gary York. I think it said number 16 under it. But you need to move forward, and you can. You've been in a toilet swirl of psychological trick all your lives. I'm here to offer this for a short time. I'm different than other people. And after this video, I'm going to begin promoting the videos. This, I think, will be about the 16th video. Then I need to begin promoting them. And you need to also. Pick on any of these videos here, hit subscribe. This will be about the 16th one, so you're not getting all 16. Email me. This should also bring you to my Facebook if you need it. I'm Gary York on Facebook. Go to my Facebook cover and you should be able to pick up some of these. Email me, whatever you want to do. Email Kate Gallego. Get involved. Learn government, fix government. Why not give it a try? Your government wants you to protest. That synonym is worship. You're out in the street rubbing your nose in the dirt, ruining the working men's and women's productive work, and you're protesting. Well, shame on all of you. All of you know that you're just worshiping government. Protest, no. Learn real psychology, yes. I'm going to teach you a move forward. Get involved in this. This is you. You take one situation and that's your parallel. You multiply that by 8 billion and you are right. Because people follow the same patterns. And all of you are stuck in game psychology. I seem to be the only one on the earth with the answer. You separate truth from false. You don't mix them all together. Oh, gee, Gary, what if? What if? You move forward on the facts that you have, and then when the culprit wants to bring out more facts, trying to defend themselves, but this, oh no, you can't, is old-style game psychology. That goes out of the bounds of truth and reality. Give me more information. Don't argue the information I have. Give me more information. That's real psychology. There's a very large difference between game psychology and real psychology. So I've separated them for you. I seem to be the only one on earth doing that. And as I say, this will probably be my last video for a while. From now on, I'll be promoting the videos now that they're established on YouTube. And I've been putting them out since I think sometime in October of last year. And now to promote them. But I've got all the answers. If I haven't mentioned them in these videos, I still have them. I had Your Girl. I gonna build a girl that pop the top, program it. This is better. You women write your books. Tell us what you really want. Not what the TV wants, what you really want. And you have to abandon game psychology in order to do that. I've got the word also there. We don't know if that works, but we do know the instead of does. Try this instead of that. And we know that the try not to doesn't work. Try not to eat the rest of that hamburger. Try not to smoke the rest of those cigarettes. Doesn't work. The instead of does. Do something else. And I'm offering you a straight shot forward with real psychology. It is very new, very different. And you've got a wonderful world ahead. Move forward. Get a hold of her. Here's a phone number. You'll get an intern and tell them, hey, pay attention to Gary York. Watch the videos and see if you can expose and clean up Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm in the wonderful, beautiful weather, beautiful state of Colorado, where everybody is on government income. And this is for sarcasm. Everybody is on government income, and it's paid for by gas prices and the payouts and scratch tickets. Is something to think about, because that suggests truth there. And but a man came across the street. When I worked in Phoenix, I worked 35 years doing landscape maintenance. He came rushing across the street and he said, "Did you hear about it last night? The lady, her dog, or maybe it was the day before, whatever, she barely got out to safety, and her little tiny dog cradled in her arms." Apparently there was a picture of it in the Arizona Republic. And they are very well known for giving you a connotation, what they want to promote. Arizona Republic is clearly affiliated with organized crime. And he said, "Oh, she barely made it to safety. The upper bedroom was on fire." So I told him the true story. I said, "Well, the owner told me that she borrowed far more money than the house was worth through Chase Bank. And this pertains to all of you. Multiply it across the world and you're right. She borrowed far more than the home was worth through Chase Bank. And this home was built in 1978. It was one that I was brought to while the Joe Arpaio's undercover agent was waiting for the correct timing to for part of a sequence to a murder, to rob black people out of North Phoenix, apparently. But I grew up in organized crime, and they like to brag because it becomes a try not to if you don't brag. You're trying not to let anyone know what you're doing. That gets to be very uncomfortable. It actually motivates people that killed somebody to go to the police and confess, even though they would have never been caught. So it is a very large psychological driver, the try not to. And it can push people to do anything. But I said she borrowed far more than the home was worth. Put the cash in her pocket or whatever she did with it. The house hadn't been rebuilt since I was at the breaking of the ground for the construction project or whatever. I mean, they had some concrete poured of the foundation, and that's about all I remember. And hadn't been remodeled since 1978. A little poor kitchen remodel, and that was it. And so she told me how she did it, and Chase Bank was involved. The online insurance, homeowners insurance online, so there would be no representative coming out and looking things over. The organized crime told her how to do it. And she bragged all this to me, like I say, it would be the try not to if she didn't. And get a big curtain for the upper bedroom. It was a fairly large house in a nice neighborhood. $500,000 at the time, and this was a decade ago. Somewhere around a $500,000 neighborhood. The house across the street worth a little more, but anyway, the online insurance, so nobody would come out and check and see what had really happened, and that's what occurred. According to what she told me, nobody came out, and a year remodeling, they paid for her existence somewhere else, and if I remember right, it was roughly a year that they were remodeling this entire house. That hadn't been remodeled ever. And everything. They even created walls. They even created stairway. And changed the house. Everything. It was a new house as you walked in there. $40,000 bathroom remodel downstairs. A bathroom created and a $40,000 build on the bathroom upstairs. The kitchen, the living room, all the walls. There were a couple of bedrooms that were not redone. What do you do with a bedroom? Well, what she did, got a big curtain for the upper bedroom window. And this is part of it's for dramatics. You put a table next to that window, light a candle. She said she waited downstairs. You do it at night. So it's more of a drama for the Arizona Republic to put in the paper. And I think something like 1:30 at night or whatever. And I can't tell the location, though I certainly know it. I can't tell first and last names, so I won't. But she said she lit a candle, put it next to the curtain, went downstairs, waited for the fire to erupt, and I went in the house and looked at it. In the fire to that upper bedroom, they remodeled the entire house except, like I say, a couple of downstairs bedrooms. And they broke the window out, or it broke out from the fire. It was, I think, a single pane window. They even changed the windows in the walls. Instead of one big junky 1978 window, they put in, I think, 3 windows. And the house was extensively remodeled. But the fire apparently coming out the window, and whether she broke out the window or whether the fire or whether the Phoenix Fire Department broke it out, I'm not sure which one on that. Not too important, but she told me she waited downstairs for the fire to build up as it would, and then call any fire inspector, any fireman knew that this was fraud. And then you look into the Chase loan that had been put in it, and you know that Chase was involved also. And they were involved in the crime against me to steal me away from my home, which was very difficult. The Phoenix police tried 3 times, and it was extensive, all illegal. I'm not going to go into it today because it would take a long time, and none of you comprehend sequence. But I'll tell you about other people's things. The insurance company, the online insurance company, paid for things that weren't damaged. They could have put a 4x8 sheet of sheetrock over the little bit of charred ceiling joist, because the ceiling joist was still structurally sound over the center of the fire, and done some smoke damage cleanup. Apparently she left the bedroom door open to allow some smoke in the house. I told my mother, I told my mother when I was a child, I remember saying, Mom, you can't do that. If an insurance company pays you more than what you lost, that would be motive. Motive is 10/10 of reality, and I was getting real psychology from the time I was born. I said, Mom, you can't, or excuse me, people can't do that. Insurance companies can't pay more than what has been lost, because that would motivate people to create these insurance situations. And 53 years later, it's still going on today because you've never fixed it. 2021 years later, you're still anticipating last day's doom because it's never been addressed. It's never been identified as a problem. 2021 years. Not one of you, look at the person next to you and think about that. This Christian next to you. And oh, they hit rock bottom and they headed back up, and it had to have been Jesus. Well, that is one of your most simplest psychological tricks. You're either going to die, you're going to stay at rock bottom, or you're going to head upwards. The ones that head upwards, oh, Jesus did it. Well, no, he didn't. What you've got in your chest area at that point is permanent and irreversible brain damage called hypnosis. And you're trapped in game psychology. You're out of the bounds of truth and reality. And as the Bible says, your history book says, the truth shall set you free. And that suggests very correctly, your truth is the better one. The concept that you can pick out which game to play, you're throwing away your life. It causes severe and irreversible brain damage. When you ruin the world around you, that ruins what you're feeling, what you're living in. And none of you comprehend that because you are that hypnosis. You are trapped in that. And I'm trying to give you some truth to bring you out of that hypnosis. And you're going to like it. I'm going to start promoting these videos after that. And please, call the intern on the phone and say, hey, what do you know about Gary York? What have you heard about him? And because they were very attentive to me throughout my lifetime. And ask Mayor Gallego what she's known, what she's researched on the Phoenix Police. You want to know too. You want to get involved. You want to keep up on it. And it's organized crime. Well, you're not burning yet. So anyway, I told the neighbor across the street the sequence that actually occurred. She got that little dog. She couldn't have a baby. She was too old and maybe too unattractive to have another baby or whatever. And so she got a little dog, and organized crime told her what to do. And to cradle on, for the picture on the apparently on the Arizona Republic or whatever she was on. I heard about the Arizona Republic, maybe the news, I don't know, other news, but anyway, they told her what to do, and she did it, and never got caught. She even bragged to me that during the time they were doing that, she was going out with a friend. They both got had plenty to drink, and then her friend threw herself down the staircase at the from what she suggested at the bar. I'm not sure exactly what, but threw herself down the staircase to do another insurance fraud scam. And you're under the lie that people could not possibly put their own lives in danger just for years and years of income. Is there some sarcasm there? Yes, they do. Very much in America and very much around the world. You sacrifice in order to gain. They nailed a Christ to a cross. I didn't put the salt up here now, but you sacrifice to gain. And real psychology, you stop sacrificing, and that is your gain. So this is an entirely different concept. It can run you straight forward. Right now you're in the toilet swirl where you go from one trick to the next, back to square one, and then you continue on again. 2021 years now in this particular Christianity. Your government was hiding the fact that Lucifer, Jesus, Beelzebub, apparently Satan and the devil both refer to Lucifer. It doesn't matter too much. The main thing you got, this is a big deal. They even made your calendar throughout the world. And if somebody wants to argue me or contradict me, give me more evidence. Don't tell me no you can't. Give me more evidence. The evidence right here is how blatant the government got at taking out what was in the Old Testament. This is a history book, very poorly written. I wrote a book. My history ended up being very poorly written. Excuse me, the phone is ringing. And please. Thank you, damn phone. Anyway, this history book my own history turned out rather poorly written. It was apparently manipulated as I was producing it onto a thumb drive on the computer that was hooked up to the internet. It was at least 4 occasions that my work was destroyed, and I didn't know how much was destroyed. And trying to reproduce that work doesn't go well. And so this history book is redundant, it is babblesome, and it is the most widely read book on the earth. And nobody is reading it as a history book. You're reading it as a Holy Bible, which is quite a mess. I've read it as a history book. Jesus called out for water. That is a very clear indication he was not dying for the sins of the world and wanted to suffer more. That is an indication of a man that wanted to live, not a son of God that wanted to die for the sins of the world. Think of what an asshole that God is, real or fictitious. He born one begotten, I don't know what begotten means, one begotten child to be tortured and murdered? No, that is the most common lie that government tells you. In other words, your police, because your police are the thug for government. The victim did it. The victim wanted it. It's the victim's fault. Everything that your police do, murder, stalking, stealing, kidnapping, assault, harassment, the worst crimes there are. And here again I say kidnapping is worse than murder. And your police want to do that every day. That is the job they chose. They just put different words on it. And I give the example in America. Back when I was younger, a dope pusher, the first rung on the ladder of drug abuse, a dope addict. Now it's cannabis, a dispensary, medication, a patient, a client. You live by game. What is the rule to the game? And your credible source, as I said, I'm going to be telling some stories today. I know what happened to you. The first thing, your body self-populates, story not true. I know because I'm not your credible source. You have a police officer sitting here telling you, I'm going to tell some stories. You know he's telling the truth. Well, no. I happen to be the one telling the truth, and you've got it backwards. You live in game psychology as soon as you're out of the bounds of truth and reality. And this is a much, much better deal. And I've explained it before. You've got laws, atheisms, and religions. Game psychology. Real psychology? No. You make your decisions, you live by your intelligence, each individual. You will have harmony throughout the world. It is the only way. You cannot find a game that is going to be compatible with all the other thousands of game rules around the world. They're going to contradict. And real psychology tends to come to similar conclusion, productive conclusion, compatible conclusion, because it is your state of awake. When you're sleepwalking, you do all kinds of crazy things because you've got the brains of your computer, except you're a very low-grade computer. And now we're starting to have evidence of that because your computer is getting better than a human being at this point. And that's why they call it your girl, a pop-top programmable woman. You want her to be lovely, you program it. You want her to go out and annoy the burglar, you program that. But you look around, you talk about it with other men, what do they want? And it may be a necessary sequence to show the women what they could be. And because women do not know, all they have is the TV, which is the bad guy telling them, hey, fat and ugly is beautiful. The more disgusting you are, the better the men better like it. And the police are going to make sure of that. And that is what you really live in. That is your only choice all this time. 2021 years of that type of thing being your only choice. And I'm going to be here a very short time, about a little over 42 more years is what I'm planning to live. By the time I'm 100, I'll be too senile for anyone to have any respect for. What are you respecting old people? Oh, gee, something is old, so you have to respect it? Well, the lies of this are old. The manipulations of the words in this are old. But there are a couple of basic solid facts that you can decide and then move forward. But try seeing this as a history book. You people crying atheism, shame on you. God told Bush Jr. to blow up Iraq. 6 billion people saw it. And you atheists are just lying. Oh, no, it didn't. No, it didn't, never occurred. Didn't happen, never occurred. And I watched it right along with everyone else. I prayed on it last night. That's all it took. Just like Jesus calling out for water. That's all it took. He did not die for the sins of the world. And the double check of that, absolute 100%, is that is exactly what police are telling you today. That the victim did it, the victim wanted it, the victim. And the victim liked it, they asked for it, any kind of lie, the victim is the first thing a culprit tells. They did a Saturday Night Live skit. Are you saying to me that some big stupid retard bullying the littler person? And that's the line they keep repeating. Are you saying to me? In other words, it's the victim's fault, it's the victim's fault, it's the victim's fault. The victim did it, victim. And every police officer is going to tell you that. If they came on the news and told you the truth of what they're doing, they'd be fired. Because you're living by verbal. You're living by gameplay that is way out of the bounds of truth or reality instead of living by the rules of reality. And I find that fascinating. It is the only true miracle. That none of you can comprehend sequence. None of you have any boundaries of truth or reality. It's just, what is the game rule that the bad guy wants to play now? Because the bad guy is inherently the winner. First thing, the bad guy is a gang. The man building his home and paying his mortgage is an individual. The bad guy is the gang, stomping on the roof, bashing out the front window, the front and back doors all at the same time, to come in as a paid gang, paid for by your property taxes, all your other taxes, which add up to a lot. It's also called slavery, the point that they're destroying you and feeding in your belongings. The Phoenix police stole me away illegally to jail and prison, and I want to make a video of that when I have time, because it is a lot to be said about your government. They refused me trial, they refused me representation, they have refused me to allow to represent myself in the courtroom. They refused to allow me out. I was just stuck in jail in limbo, which is the Trinata, and that is a very painful situation. And so you're going to learn about all of that. And it was their third try to illegally take me from my home. Now I'll tell you about the homeowner before that. And I have not gone into detail about what they did to me, but it was a sequence. They failed at least 3 times, and a lot of years went by, and I'll talk about that another time. I'll tell to establish some of the foundation of it around the Phoenix area. The arson fire that they got a fantastic remodel, the whole house remodeled. Well, now it can sell for what was borrowed plus more money to put in the pocket of the arsonist. And so that's how it worked. And Chase Bank loaned that money that house was not worth. So because they knew that the government was going to reimburse them. And Washington Mutual had my loan before Chase got it. And Washington Mutual apparently was more honest than Chase. Chase threw out junk loans from some people that I heard. They all did the same thing. Apparently Washington Mutual not quite as much. So they were put out, and my loan was transferred to Chase. And Washington Mutual was run out. Chase offered them once, and that didn't work. Just like the government going into Mexico City in the Mexican-American War, whatever you want to call it. They failed the first time, so they'll do it again, and then they'll do it again until they succeed, because the bigger party is the winner, and all of you know that. You stick with the bad guy because the bad guy is going to win. And I'm asking you, hey, you're not burning yet. Throw caution in the garbage. Make a simple phone call. Just ask her how her progress is being done. Email her. Yeah, we want to get involved. We want to be interested in this. Can we clean up the Arizona organized crime? Well, let's expose them first. That's your first thing to do. And 58 years I've been in this, and they like to brag, because otherwise, here again, it would be the try not to. Are trying to hide what they're doing from me? No. They want to tell me about it. And I'll go into detail about the sequence of my home being stolen some other time. You don't care now. These videos need to be promoted now that they've been established, and that'll be my goal in the future. These are wonderful videos. They are not here to entertain you. They are here to educate you. And this is the best investment you'll ever have in your life. You turn it on, oh, you don't feel too good about it. So what? You have to turn it off. I've heard that before. Oh, I couldn't watch it. I had to turn it off. Fine. When you can turn it back on again, turn it back on, because this is your best move forward, to stop lying. Every Christian is a perpetual liar. Where did the name Christ even come from? I thought his mother's name was Magdalene. Yeah, a god, a angel, a fallen angel, spirits. You need to decide you need more information before you throw away your life pretending that, because living a lie causes hypnosis. The hypnotists learn hypnosis. What it is bafflement. They swing a watch in your face and say you're getting sleepier and sleepier. No, you're not. They're obligating you to go along with a lie, and that's what hypnosis is. You abandon reality and you're trapped. The mind is very simple, it is very trickable. You've got to admit how stupid you are. And I've dwelled on this, stupid fool. And the person next to you is stupid just the same, which to me, here again, your Geico Gecko lies to you redundantly 24/7. I'll tell you the truth repetitively. That you got 4 to resolve your problems. First of all, you got to decide it is a problem. You've got to identify the situation. But before that, you have to have number 4. You have to have the answer, or else it becomes a try not to. Oh, gee, you're not going to smoke cigarettes. You're just going to stand there. Yeah, then somebody says, oh, here you can vape instead. Oh, here you can have a patch. You can do this, you can do that, which is an instead of that does work. Now, it might be just as bad, but that's the principle that does work. I'm giving you something here. Do you really want to be fat? Well, you've lied to yourself yesterday and you believe that lie today. One of the major dictators around the world mentioned the fact of reality. You lie to people enough times, that becomes their truth. And now you've got to try and decipher all that, which it's possible to do it. With the also, I've got a question mark on that. 2021 years. Your government burned Lucifer in his construction work. Your lake of fire is what is called in your history book. They nailed his friend Jesus to a cross. According to your history book, Jesus had been, according to the people around me that have read this book also, say he was teaching roughly 3 years before the government snagged him up and burned him on a cross. Or nailed him to a cross. Okay, now Pilate, busy washing his hands in a bucket. That's your police today. Identical. 100%. And getting somebody else that does not have a uniform on to do their dirty business. And I'm going to talk more about this in a minute. Your organized crime isn't all in uniform. Half or most of it is not in uniform. It's called an undercover agent or a criminal, a prisoner, former prisoner, jail, prison, and they buddy up with police. Your police are intermingling with prisoners continuous, and I've learned all this by being victim, and I'm here to tell you, and you need to listen. It's better for all of you. And I know you've got to turn the video off, just like the pussies that stuff salt in Jesus' mouth. You have to be the same pussies 2021 years later. Well, is there anybody that's going to have some, be the hero and start moving forward? Because your government will nail you to a cross. However, they do anyway. And I don't know whether to go into stories about organized crime members that have had their life sacrificed by organized crime to launder money, especially through the hospitaling conglomerate and the drugging conglomerate. And organized crime will sacrifice its members to do that, and it is not a good life. And I've got 3 examples that I will not go into today. Instead, I'll focus on my home in Phoenix. And I have one in Pine, Arizona also. And the fire was reported the same evening that I tried to put video number 17 on. So that might have been a warning to me. A forest fire nearby, so nearby that they evacuated both of the towns, including mine, Pine, Arizona. And I have a cabin at 6424 West Jan Drive. And so I want all of you to realize, and that is not the first time that they've threatened me. The mob boss said to me, and I've had this on the video before, you've got a lot of lumber in your home, and that is identical to Lucifer and his lake of fire. No, they burned Lucifer in his construction work. They identified Jesus as a carpenter. I've heard it said by people. This Bible was written by people. So I'm going to listen to people. I've read the Bible twice when I was a teenager, and rambling, babblesome, very similar to this book. The beginning of this, that is not my history, well, yeah it is, but the beginning of this book is written well. The back of the book, written well. And some of the first ones I put in a couple of book place savers so that you could go to the front or back of the book and reread some of that when my autobiography becomes babblesome. And see it like this. Realize, tell the truth about this Bible. It is babblesome, it is broad, suggestive. It is clearly not written by intelligent people. And as soon as you lie that was written by God, God is a synonym for government. Holy Bible is a synonym for a history book. And synonyms are used to tell a lie. God is a lie, government, now you're getting a little closer. And synonyms can be a pair of words or a set of words as opposed to one word or a set of words. And if your dictionary tells you different, then clean up your dictionary. The American language is very, very dishonest. I want to talk quickly, make this video as short as possible. Give this woman some email and say, you want to know what Gary York's up to. And anyway, and listen, if she tells you anything, listen to it and bring it back to me. But don't have this become your fact. Have it become your information. Try practicing. That's what this is all about. For you to practice your information coming in. This is your information. This is not your fact. This is not your credible source and you've got fact now. That's old style game psychology. You bring in the information and you process it when you need to. And this is much more fun. I think I heard the camera click there. I shouldn't have. It's a brand new chip and a fully charged battery. Hopefully it's going to keep running for another 10 minutes and then I'm done. But my home, before they stole me away from it, Phoenix police, the Joe Arpaio's gang apparently dragged out the last owner, and what they did was they targeted individuals that were living alone. And I know the woman's first and last name. I won't mention it. I can't. But she told me the story, and that sounds correct. She lived there 6 years. Clearly the mortgage was paid because she was allowed to borrow $20,000 more on the house. And a man had false friended her. I'm going to put a name to it, the Phoenix Police. And I know the man's first and last name. and he was never caught because he was Phoenix police. And so call up the Phoenix police and ask him, what was the guy's name? But anyway, 2576 East Sweetwater Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona, 85032. And sometimes I get that mixed up with my address in Pine. But anyway, so what? Move forward. Get involved. A mistake is made, you correct it. And that's how real psychology is. You move steady forward. Instead of going around in circles on the what if, you move forward. Somebody gives you better information, then you recalculate. You don't stop because of the what if. And anyway, the old owner, she came by 3 times and I talked to her, and she told her story, and a man had false friended her, moved in. She was going to, for his rent, he was going to remodel. Well, no, he wasn't. The Phoenix police had a plan. And this is psychology. Also, it is physical theft. There's also a psychology behind it. Instead of learning her lesson that he stole from her, according to the story, the man took $20,000 that was borrowed under the lie that he was going to take that money and buy supplies to remodel this home that hadn't had too much done to it. Yes, it did, but it was never made into a very perfect home. It had a lot done over the years. New roof, air conditioning, tile floors, additions that had not been remodeled to a perfect home. And so the Phoenix police lied to her. Oh, well, gee, I'll have that $20,000 to buy materials, and for rent I'll fix up your home. He took the $20,000 and went to New Mexico. From what I heard, was never caught because he was Phoenix police. And yeah, I can say that because I'm real psychology. Do you Phoenix police have better information? Do you have other information? But you're not going to take away what I have. And so all of you have that now. But she became discouraged and quit making the extra payment because somebody had stolen the money. It was his obligation at that point to make the payment, which is psychology. And so apparently the gang of Joe Arpaio's thugs, deputies, came and dragged her out of her home. And they had no legal reason to drag me out of my home. They still did. They merely did it very illegally. And the home next door, he showed me his mortgage. He owed $68,000, and he was giving it back to the bank, and it looked like it was still a clean loan. And he was giving it back to the bank, and I don't know the circumstances around that. His parents had died, apparently both of them, I think a car crash. Both died in a similar time, and he got an inheritance, $55,000. Well, immediately there was a crystal meth dealer selling him $55,000 worth of crystal meth in 1 year. I think the money was used up in a little over a year, which is some very high-priced crystal meth. And for that sequence to occur, I'm going to put a name on it. The Phoenix police were selling him crystal meth. Now, at that point, Did the Phoenix police also murder both his parents? So that could occur. You say, oh no, Gary, that would never happen for a portion in $55,000. Really? When you want to take a bicycle ride and somebody says, well, we'll give you $55,000 to take a bicycle ride, you probably would have anyway, and your Phoenix police are very similar. Murder, theft, arson, kidnapping, whatever you got going that is destruction, that's what they're going to do. And that's what they want to do each day. But if one of them got on the TV and verbally told you that, they would immediately be fired. And I had to go into an if scenario, in other words, a false scenario, to do that one, to give you a contrast. But my neighbor was run out, the old owner of my home was run out, and I was taken out. And should I go into detail on that? There is a lot of it. It's a sequence that will teach you about the so-called justice system in Arizona, and here, multiply it throughout the world, because you're all playing game psychology. Many of your movies, you see everybody slaughtering and slashing, and this is blowing up and that's blowing up. What about the people building all that stuff that's being blown up? And you've been dum-dums long enough that turns into the try not to. Okay, you've been fat for 30 years. Okay, you've been smoking cigarettes for 30 years. There is an element of try not to that develops, and that can help motivate you to an instead of. And but get a hold of this woman. Tell her, yeah, you want to know, what is this that Gary York hasn't told us yet? We do want to learn real psychology. We do wonder, has the government been on Gary York's back all these years because he has not game psychology, or is it merely that he was born into organized crime? And start taking an interest in this, start taking a move forward. And I want to get a hold of her. I'll be calling her again. I've called the interns twice, and the last one suggested that I'm special because I have mental problems. And you're going to learn about Rule 11, which I would have never guessed could occur. But that's another video that would be over 2 hours. Try not to, which doesn't work, try not to have this become your fact. Take in your information. Try practicing that instead of, which does work, where you're bringing in information. That man that came rushing across the street to tell me the sob story that he'd heard on the Arizona Republic. Your Arizona Republic is known for teaming up with organized crime. I know personally, and I haven't told that story yet, but he told me their story. I told him the truth, which is much, much more logical. And the pussy just ran back in his home. I never saw him again. And you're the same pussies today that stuff salt in Jesus' mouth, so because the government told them you're next. Yeah, Pilate's busy washing his hands in the bucket. He's just a figurehead like Abraham Lincoln or God, figurehead for government. Pilate's busy washing his hands in the bucket. Yeah, all his thugs were standing around suggesting you're next. And that's why they stuffed salt in Jesus' mouth. They were pussies back then, which is fascinating to me. I still move forward in truth. They back me up. Head beatings, exhaustion. There have been times I haven't slept for months, maybe years. And you cannot be awake at that time. And then as I recover, I'm right back to real psychology. And you're not. But we're going to see, does the also work? Learn real psychology and ask your teachers in school to play these videos. I think this will, I mentioned what, there'll be 17 videos out with this one, I think something like that. And one is 5.5 minutes. The last one I just did was 15 minutes. And one is 2 hours and 21 minutes, I think was number 18. Very excellent video. All of them are. And they are, put a word on it, boring. I can do more things to entertain you. No, I'm here to be a teacher for you. You've got to learn the information. Get your entertainment somewhere else. Watch this video while you're at the bar. Ask the bartender to put it on. You have your drinks. Watch it on your phone when one of them hits subscribe, and it should bring up most or all of them. And any problems with that, here's your connection to me. I am Gary York, and move forward. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Get involved. And is there something besides game psychology? And the truth is very, very interesting. And here again, I'm not here to entertain you, to delight you, to give you a quick fix. I'm here to fix everything and bring you to heaven, whereas you're living in hell now. And that is the actual truth. A heaven and hell that is imaginary is called hypnosis. Holy Bible. This is how blatant they got. They just threw away the Old Testament completely, and here's the book of lies. A Jesus Christ? No, a Jesus Magdalene dying on a cross because he was promoting something that the government doesn't like. Your government will vanish. You won't be calling the police. When they say, oh, gee, God told them to blow up Iraq, you're going to say, hey, wait a minute here. And you learn the magician's tricks, and the magician goes home. And that is your government. It's not a god. It is a gang of people that are leeching off of you. Remember the beginning of this video? Well, if we kill them all, then who will do our work for us? It's called slavery, and all of you are, because the truth will set you free, and none of you have it. And start questioning these Christians. How do you know Jesus is the Son of God? I told one long-time Christian, I said that. They bounced back with exactly what I'll memory matched all of you, because they told you, the government told you to say this on the TV. Because I know that I know that I know. Which is not an answer to the question, it's an instead of. And all of you accept an instead of. You ask a question, they do not answer it, they give you an instead of, because I know that I know that I know is a 3-time repeat, a redundancy of their agenda, and not an answer as to why they're doing it. And they've got something to hide. Tell them that. And enjoy, get a hold of her, and so what? You're not burning yet. Your life is a mess anyway. You can't stand your own self. The richest man on earth, married 27 years. I heard this morning, they put it on the news for me, so I'll say it now. The divorce is final. You're going from bad to worse, which ends up being a toilet circle, a continuous circle. A marriage can be getting better, better, better. It depends on your initial mind frame. A woman that seems to, oh, we're coming apart, it's been a decade or 12 years. No, she was that way to begin with. And basically, so were you. You did not change. Who you are when you're born is who you are when you die. And you do not change. And that is a good thing. Look at the good side of that. You can start telling the truth. Well, you're showing me who you really are. And you can resolve a marriage better that way than lying. Oh, gee, you've changed. No, you haven't. You tricked me. This is who you really were. And you're comfortable in cash now, so now you're gonna go nuts on it. Enjoy. Get a hold of her and promote these videos to your friends. And quit looking for entertainment. Start looking for to be intelligent tomorrow. Goodbye.